All right, so we're going to move on to page 23 and page 24. So on page 23, go ahead and get your tape, glue, or scissors and markers. Go ahead and find this page here that has the scrubbers, okay, the ultra scrubbers. And then on page 24, you're going to find a chart here, a diagram here that shows you the cleanser, what happens when the machine is vibrating and how it cleanses and pulls impurities out. And then you have your facial guide of your steps. So you have your little diagram there. So go ahead and you can find these 3 images, okay? And go ahead and cut and paste those on page 23, and then go ahead and come on, push pause and come on back when you're ready. All right, so this particular machine is the Ultra Scrubber. All right, so I did blue on the other one. Let me change up my colors. Y'all know how I like to do my colors. Let's do purple. Ultra Scrubber. You'll find that it is definitely called a lot of different things, but scrubber is the most common one that you'll find. Ultra Scrubber will be what we call it here on campus. We do have the handheld ones that look exactly, just about exactly like this. We do have different models, but you do have the opportunity to work with them. Now, we do have the lower grade ones that are available to anyone that you can get off of Amazon for maybe like $20-$30, okay? And then we also do have one from Skin for Life that is a way higher quality. It's attached to the actual facial machine base. It's not handheld, meaning you need the actual machine in order for it to work. And this is definitely high quality. It is found in many facial aesthetic spas, salons, medi spas, things of the sort. So we do have both. You'll be experiencing both. You'll find that some are not as strong or potent in their a function or their vibration as the more professional brand. So you do have the opportunity to play with the two. Now we do have 3 different brands of scrubbers. So one is a cheaper one is a little bit more expensive, and then we got a little bit more expensive ones. We have 2 middle of the lines, and then the fancy high-end, professional industry grade ultra scrubber requiring the machine. So you'll be able to work and see the difference between the 3, and why it's important that when you are going to invest money in your salon machinery, that you do invest in good quality industry grade type of machines to get the results that your clients are looking for, and that you say that your clients can look forward to with these machines or these services. Okay, so the machine will help solve different kinds of issues that you have going on with your skin or that your client may have. So we're going to go over some of these. Okay. All right, so oily skin. If you have any oily skin, it helps by removing some of that off of the surface of the skin. This doesn't necessarily go down deep into the skin as far as treating or fixing anything. It's pulling out the impurities from the skin, okay, with this little blade that we have here. So the other thing that we have here also is that it's going to help remove blackheads, okay? Now, when I say it's going to help, depending on the quality of the scrubber that you have, it's either going to help a little bit as far as help opening pores and moving some of that, softening some of the blackheads and things that you have underneath the skin, or it's going, and then that way you can come in and do extractions, or if you have the high grade, it actually will vibrate at a higher frequency and it will pull out a good amount of blackheads. Now, do know that there are some blackheads that have been there for a long time. They're a little bit bigger or deeper, or just are going to be more stubborn. And so this machine is definitely going to help, especially if a client has 1 or 2. But if you have a lot on the skin, you don't eat a salad today and look like J-Lo tomorrow. Okay, you hear me say that. So this is something that your client, you have to sell a series of. So 5 different facial treatments using the Ultra Scrubber. They come in with clogged pores. And after the performance of the 5 or 6 or series of 10 or whatever, however you want to sell it, after all of those facials, then the client should see the difference, right? You eat a lot of salads, and then you work out a lot, drink a lot of water and all of that, get plenty of rest, and then you might look like J-Lo, right? But no guarantees. It just depends on the body. So also too, your client can come in and get this service done, but if the client goes home within those 5 facials that she's supposed to be getting or he's supposed to be getting, if they don't go home and take care of their skin the way you recommend it, you can do 20 facials and nothing's going to happen. They're not going to see a difference. They need to drink more water. They need to wash their face. They need to change their pillowcases. They need to, use certain products. They need to come regularly. So it's definitely something you need to teach your clients, that it's important to be consistent with their appointments. Okay. Firming and lifting the skin, and whitening and reducing spots. Now with this particular one, the whitening is more just because you're clearing the skin, and reducing some spots as far as getting rid of the dead skin that has been accumulating and layering up. It does help close, and sorry I didn't change color on that one. It does help close the large pores, and that being because when it was removing the blackheads, and you have a pore and the pore has become rather large. When you remove that impurity out of the pore, then it's going to, your pore is going to close back up, or not close because they don't close, but it's going to get smaller. So that is how it helps remove the large pores. And then of course, any active acne that you have, it does help in releasing any of those clogged pores or any of the pus that you may have, pus pockets that you may have developed and things of the sort. So definitely want to make sure you understand that this is a machine that's going to help clear the skin, okay? And again, the quality of the skin is very important. So this here is going to be your blade. And when I say blade, and they call it different things, some are flat, but some are curved. Most of them will have the curve. You won't have any that have a straight 90-degree angle like I drew here, okay? Because it is a thin, not like a knife, but it is a thin metal, and if you don't use it properly, you can hurt your client. You can scratch them, you can bruise them, you can hurt them, you can burn them, you can possibly cut them. So you won't have many. I'm sure there's some out there, but you won't have many, if any, with a straight 90-degree angle, like, literally a sharp point, okay? You will have many of them that have a round corner, okay? So you can get right into the nose and such. And then you'll have some with a little scoop. Some are flat, but some with a little scoop, and that definitely helps because remember, your face isn't flat. You're working on a round surface. And then of course you have your handle or the body, okay? So this is the body. And on the body you will have your buttons or your functions. So, and this will be, depending, some of them have it on the sides. So here are your functions. As far as the speed, the intensity, the on and off, things of the sort. Okay, so that was page 23. Now let's look a little bit more on how this works and what it does. So with our blade, some people call it the wand, some people call it the spatula. There's different things that you'll hear it called, but with I'll call it the ultra scrubber or the scrubber. With the scrubber, what it does, it kind of feels like a little massage. You don't see it working. Like if you just look at it, you will hear the zzz vibration, but you don't see it. If you drop some water, if you put a little drop of water onto the blade, you will feel, you won't feel, you'll see how the water vibrates. And it will vibrate off of the spatula or off of the blade. Okay, that is how you see when you put it up to the ear, it's like this weird humming zzz, and some people don't like that, so some people will cover their ears, and that's okay. But what it's doing, it's vibrating. All right, my apologies, my computer ran out of space there and I had to readjust some things after class. So we finished off on this last portion that the scrubber vibrates at a high frequency. When you place water on it, you'll see it vibrate, you see it working. As far as for when you place it close to the client's ear, the sound irritates some clients, so they'll cover their ears, and that's okay. Sometimes you can offer little cotton balls, but it's just some clients that it bothers, but it shouldn't bother too much. You do want to make sure to have the clients close their eyes when you're working around the eye area, so nothing sprinkles off into their eyes. And another thing too, for yourself is you can wear some kind of safety glasses or goggles if you're too close to the client's face, which you shouldn't be, but in that instance that you are, you can definitely protect your eyes that way. So with this here, okay, we have the cleansing. Okay, it's very tiny, small ultrasonic vibrations, okay, that will gently exfoliate the skin. So it's not like you're scrubbing and you're not using the blade to scrape. So if this were the blade, you're not sitting there scraping, okay? It vibrates, and as it vibrates, as you can see here, the vibrations, okay? And you can see here is the pore. Okay, so this is the pore. Okay, you can see that the pore has impurities inside of it. Okay, and as it vibrates, it jiggles, and it allows for all of the impurities that are in, okay, and I'm going to change my color here, that are in the pore, okay, follicle area, you can see that they will come out. Now, they're not going to spew out and like a volcano come out, okay? It's going to bring it to the surface, and it typically will collect on the blade. So when you look at the blade, okay, as you're doing this, you need to have like a little napkin, a paper towel, preferably not a towel because you want to throw this away, but you want to have something, a cotton round 4x4, something that you can wipe this part or the corner edges or rounded edges, because this is where all of that that you're extracting, all of that is going to be accumulating as it's coming out. So this is what you need to toss. Okay, you need to toss this out. Okay, we wipe it, we throw it in the trash. Okay, if it gets to accumulate too much, you want to wipe. If it's a little accumulation, you can keep working. A great thing to do is to either show the client, stop it, let the client see, and they can see what you're actually pulling out, or collect it on the 4x4 napkin or tissue, and then you can show them the tissue and say, hey, look, this is what came out of your skin. This is the progress that we're doing with this service, okay? So you can see here, so I kind of have a lot of colors going through, but the blade, okay, is downward. See this L shape, okay? So when the blade is going down, and this is, our machine or whatnot, but when the blade is going down, okay, oh, sorry, I've got my reminder here. When the blade is going down, you're helping get the impurities out, okay? When the blade, okay, and so you have your little blade here, right? And the blade is actually scooping, this is going upwards per se, as if you're scooping. You can see the L shape here. You are getting the tiny vibrations as you are here, but the vibrations are being pushed downward, okay? So that is going to help push product, okay, into the pores. So you're pushing them as you're wiggling whatever's inside the pore, you're wiggling it out by having the blade downward. By having the blade upward, or the spatula, whichever you want to call it, by having it upward, the vibrations go down into the skin. And so here it's a little hard to see, but you can see the vibration lines there, and you're pushing the product into the skin. So if you have a product that you're working with, and let's say that you have an oil or a serum or something of the sort, or every manufacturer has different products that you can use or cannot use with these machines, but it's pushing the product into the pore, getting better penetration, something that we cannot do with our fingertips, okay, or brushes or things of the sort. So that is how the science behind that is how that works. So with this here, okay, now time-wise and how much time you spend on the face is important to understand what you can or cannot do, okay? So we're gonna go at this in phases, okay? So it depends. So it how can I say, okay, it depends on the client consultation. If a client has a lot of work to do as far as a lot of extractions and a lot of blackheads, comedones, milia, all that, a lot of congestion in the face and the pores, then you spend more time. If the client does not have that much and just has one or two or a little bit on the nose, the congestion, but everything else is fine, then we're going to not spend as much time. Thanks. All right, so for this one here, again, so you to spend the more time on the client if the client needs it, less time on the client if the client needs it. Talk to your client and read the manufacturer's directions and see what your salon, what rules they set out on how old the client can be to use some of these things. You also have to go back and see the contraindications of what types of skins or services to clients you cannot use these on and with, and so we'll discuss that more when we do the demonstration. Okay, so this is just again an example, okay? So for a full face is 75 minutes, and if you add the neck, because sometimes if the client has the beards, have ingrown hairs, if they have congestion on the underneath of the jaw chin area and the neck, if you're going to do a full face, the neck is 120 minutes, okay? So each section is going to, because this is not something to rush, right? It's vibrating, but you need it to give it time to do its work, okay? So with the brow area, okay, so this is here, from the brows up, okay, you can see the direction that the machine should go. Stay away from the eye area, okay? So that can take up to 20 minutes. Should not be more than 20 minutes. When you're working on the upper face, that's if you're just from the forehead, from the brows up. If you just have that fringe, the bangs, and you have oily hands and your hands are always in your bang area, your forehead area, you can get that congestion. That should be a 20-minute service. To get it fully on someone that has a lot of congestion, maximum 20 minutes, okay? Again, everything changes depending on the client and service provider. The upper face should take 30 minutes, and that's going to be this section here. So if you're going to go about the mid top nose over up to the top of the head, forehead area, that should take you 30 minutes, okay? When you're going into the lower face, okay, that's going to be from the bottom of the nose, tip of the nose down, okay, to about the chin area, and this is going for the other side. That should take you a 60-minute window, okay, or that should be about a 60-minute window. When you're looking at a full neck, okay, underneath the chin can be included, and then of course these vertical panels here that you can do horizontal or vertical depending. These are going to be a full neck, and it's going to be a 60-minute treatment there, okay, or service there. So you can do per section depending on the congestion of the client. You can do per consultation. It just kind of depends on what your client is looking for. If your client needs more work, then you take more time. If your client doesn't need that much work, or maybe she just needs a section, like I said, maybe just the forehead or maybe just the nose area, then your times will change on your service ticket, okay? So keep in mind how the machine works, what it does, what direction up or down that you have it will do something different, will extract and help clean up, or will help penetrate and push down the product into the pores. And then keep in mind your diagram, your chart, your face chart on how you're going to do the application, so you can go in a professional manner and not just kind of skip around and jump around the face, and it doesn't feel as professional to the client. So that is going to be our ultra scrubber machine. So now that we have the theory part, we're going to go ahead and go into the lab, and we're going to allow you to practice with this to see how it feels, and also to pour some water on there so you can actually see the vibrations and how that works for you. Okay. All right, so that is what I have for you. Make sure to take your notes very well, and let's go out into the lab.